So let's get started by defining, so that we're all on the same page, what's clutter? 3 of the biggest pain points that we hear from our clients and from people who contact us through social media are that they don't have enough time, they're completely overwhelmed, and they don't know where to start. So we think the best place to get started is understanding what is clutter.
Yeah, so clutter can mean something completely different for everybody. So everybody will have a different perception. So a few definitions about clutter. We believe that clutter can be something that doesn't belong in the space. So if you have something laying around and it doesn't belong in that room, that can be clutter. Items that don't have a permanent home. So if you don't know where to put things away, it's difficult to find a home for that. That's clutter. Items that you don't use, or items that are broken. And basically items that don't add value to your life, to the activities that you want to do.
Clutter can also be the things that you're storing on someone else's behalf. I'm pretty sure we all know that there's somewhere, someplace in our homes where we're keeping things for other people. And, maybe 1 or 2 things isn't a problem, but when those things start to add up to being an entire garage or an entire closet or that space you really want to get back so you can turn a room into a yoga practice, that's when it becomes clutter, when those things prevent us from doing the things we love. It also are things that don't fit in our spaces. So potentially, we've inherited a really beautiful dresser and buffet, but it just doesn't seem to fit in our dining room or living spaces. No matter which way we organize the furniture, it's just not fitting. So we would define that as clutter. How best can we use that piece?
Yeah. Any items that prevent you from using the space for its intended purpose, that's clutter. So if you have a stove and you have a lot of things on top of the stove and you cannot cook, that's clutter. If you have stuff in your bathtub and you cannot take a shower, that's clutter. And basically any item that backs you. So if there is something always on the way and it's always frustrating you, that's clutter, and you probably should do something about it.
So one of the things that we really like is a resource. So take this down, is a group called Clutterers Anonymous. So this is primarily in North America, but it's groups that meet up. And one of the things that they use to define clutter is anything we don't need, want, or use that takes our time, our energy, our space, or our serenity. So a lot of people, when they're suffering from having too much of something, too much clutter, they say that they can't relax, they can't feel well, and we completely understand this. So if we've taken you through a little bit of what it means to have clutter, there are still some tools that you can use to identify, what level of clutter do I have?
There is a great tool that is called the Clutter Image Rating tool, and it basically shows you 9 photos. The first photo is a room. In this case, you can see a living room with just the basic furniture. And then the photo number 9 is the same room full with stuff. And in between, you have 9 numbers. So you can look at your space and then you can see where you are on that list. It's a really cool tool to use. In this case, we have a bedroom. It's the same idea, from 1 to 9, from nothing to a lot of clutter. And then you can position yourself on number 2, number 3, number 5, whatever number comes there. And the last one is a kitchen.
The thing that we want to mention to you is that a lot of people can be very critical of themselves. So when you're looking at this is a tool to help you identify and to be on the same level with other people. It's not to make you feel shame or embarrassed. It could be a very motivating thing if you think you do have clutter and you are affected by it, but when you look and you match up more with a 2, know that you're being a little bit critical of yourself. Yes, it's still clutter to you, but you are on the lower end of the scale. So try not to be too negative self-talk.
Yeah. Another thing that I would like to say is that if you are watching this video, this course, you are ready to create change in your life. So even if you are on the higher number, you are on the way to reduce and eliminate that. So that's really great. So don't judge yourself. Keep the motivation going. And this is just a matter of time to get it done. Okay?
Yeah. I always use the analogy that we're like onions, and maybe you might relate to this a little bit, but we are like onions in the fact that we are filled with many layers. And when you start the decluttering process, when you start to remove that clutter from your life, you're just peeling one layer. And the next year, you might do it again. So give yourself some time, give yourself a pat on the back, and let's keep going.